Hi everyone. I have an itch. So this is Veda Day 9. I'm hopefully going to get this out before midnight tonight. Yay! I'm going to do a little bit more of a video than I've done the last couple days. And the reason why I've had some very short little videos the last couple days is because I've been really working on a bunch of larger videos. I'm working on a car buying video, and I'm working on some rock library videos, and some Health by May videos. So it's kind of like where I'm doing these videos that are taking a bunch of little parts, and I'm filming those, like I'm doing those over a few days. So I'm going to have better feeding videos in the future, but right now my videos are kind of sucky. Anyway, so what was I just totally lost my train of thought. Okay, so anyway, so today I'm going to be doing a video on my breastfeeding issues. Now, I just did an update last Thursday or Friday, whatever it was, on my issues with breastfeeding and how I'm trying to get my milk supply up. I have come to the conclusion that my milk supply is low and my own fault. I've really slacked on actually breastfeeding. I'm only doing it once or twice a week, and that really saddens me. I don't want him to grow out of it even latching on. I want to keep him to where he will latch on, and I don't want to lose my milk supply. And if I'm only latching him on 1 to 2 times a week, and I'm only pumping around 3 times a day, some days 4, my milk is going to go away, and I've already seen the residuals of me slowing down on all of that. So that's why I started taking the fenugreek, and it's definitely helped. I've increased my milk supply, a daily milk supply, I think by about 8 to 10 ounces right now, which is great. That's two bottles. But I'm still not pumping enough to where I'm actually starting to store. So I think I'm going to set this new goal for me. I've talked to my sister, and she's been trying to increase her milk supply as well. She's more exclusively breastfed than anything. But they are moving, and she's going to be needing a lot of help from family, and at the same time she won't be able to breastfeed as easily when those families are helping taking care of the baby. So she's trying to pump to get a supply, but her whole career of breastfeeding, she hasn't been able to pump very much ever. So she's been taking the fenugreek, and her supply has gone up, and she has like 20 something actual feedings in her freezer, and she's doing really well, but she's still exclusively breastfeeding, and she's pumping 2 times a day. So on top of, or she'll feed on one side and pump at the same time on the other. So I have decided that since my goal with breastfeeding is to breastfeed solid or pump solidly for about 8 months, and I would love to, by 8 months, have a really good supply to where I don't have to pump anymore, to where I can live off of that supply for the next 4 months. At the same time, I don't want to stop breastfeeding, so I would live off of that supply for 4 months, but I still want to try to nurse him. I like to nurse him in the morning, and I like to nurse him at night until a year old, or until he wants to stop up to 2. I won't nurse over 2. But so that's my goals when I want to try to breastfeed. I still want to remain breastfeeding. I want to keep breastfeeding, and I'm really upset with myself by being so busy that I'm not taking the time to do it, as I feel like that can be a time not only for me to bond with him, it's also a time that I can actually relax. So I'm changing things up. I just pumped. This was my second pumping of the day, and I got these full, and I got probably about 5.5 ounces in each container, so that's just a little over 2 bottles. I have about 3 bags of stuff in 2.5 bags in my fridge, and I already have a ton in my freezer from when I first came home with the baby, and I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours. But I have decided that I'm going to continue to pump. I'm going to continue to pump my 3 times a day, but I am going to start feeding him by breastfeeding. Now, when I go to people's houses, I'll sure give him a bottle. That's no problem. But on days like today, when we're home most of the day, or I'm just around my kids, or I'm even, even if I go over to my in-laws' house, I'll just put a cover on because they're very uncomfortable with breastfeeding. But I'm going to start feeding him. When he's hungry, I will feed him. Unless someone else, I'm busy, but I'm not going to go to the bottle. When he's hungry, I go to the bottle. I don't go, oh, let's just feed. So I'm going to change that. And I'm going to set my goal to do this for 1 week. And I'm just going to start there. 85% of the time, I'm going to breastfeed. And then I'm going to still pump 3 times a day. And I'm going to try to do it after my morning feeding, after my late afternoon feeding, and after he's already gone to bed. I will pump. So that way I'll be feeding him, 5 to 6 times a day, and then I'll be pumping 3 times a day. And I can take what I'm pumping and store it. And that will hopefully get me to my goal of having enough after 8 months, to where I can kick off the nursing to just his morning and his night. I don't have to pump anymore. If he wants to nurse more during that time, that's fine too. But I just don't want to have to be pumping anymore. And I want to just have to worry about, I don't know. I really don't know. But that is just my goal. We'll see. At 8 months, I might decide that I'm completely done. I want to be able to have my few drinks and not worry about how many hours it's been, and if I've had over, the limit of drinks, or you're allowed 1 drink every 4 hours. I want to be able to have 3 drinks and not worry about, I have to time it now, make sure I'm breastfeeding before and after, or things like that, Those are things I miss. I miss having my few beers a couple times a week. So maybe at 8 months, and when I have enough to last a year, who knows, I might just call it quits and just feed him the bottle and not breastfeed anymore. But then again, I might start enjoying it a lot more than I have in the past. I feel like this is so much easier for me to pump, because I sat here for, I think it was 13 minutes, and I got 2 bottles worth. 2 bottles worth in 13 minutes. If I were to feed him in 13 minutes, I'd get 1 bottle's worth, because I get 1 feeding. So I just cut my time in half. Is how I look at that. And with my time, I'm on the go so much. It's just, this just seems so much easier to me. But I will do what I want to do. I'll do what I need to do. But I also don't want him just to get used to the bottle. I want to keep nursing him so he can go back and forth for that bond and that that relationship that you build by breastfeeding, which I haven't had with the other kids. And I definitely feel a difference with this child. And I tell my husband all the time, it's not that I love him more, I feel more connected, and I think it's because I breastfeed with him. If you guys have ever breastfed and formula fed a child, I want to know if you feel different, or if it's the same. I have no idea, but I feel different, and I keep saying it's either that I breastfeed, or that I was so disappointed when I found out that he was a boy, and now that he's here, it's like I love him even more for him being a boy. So that's that. So tomorrow's video will be my day in the life, and from day in the life around the world. I'm working on editing that video now, and then the video after that, I'm not quite sure if it's going to be our car buying video, which is going to be a lot of footage, and I don't even know if we'll be finished with the journey by then. But I definitely, one of the next videos I do want to do is update you guys on our thoughts or ideas of TTC. We're definitely not doing it now, but it's definitely something that we are talking about, and I constantly think about, and I just kind of want to spew out my thoughts. So we'll have to see when I can get that up. But I do have a lot of other videos I'm working on, so stick out with me. Sorry that all my videos have come so late. at night. It's kind of my only time to sit down and upload them. And for some reason, when I try to send them from my phone recently, they error out. So that's that. All right, have a good ninth day of Veda, guys, and I'll see you on day 10.